Good afternoon. Today I have with me my student. Today we're going to do an activity called Think or Float. So, do you know what a prediction is?
A prediction is what you think is going to happen.
Something that you think is going to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to predict which one of these items will sink or float. We have a quarter, a rock, a crayon, a stick, a leaf, a bell, and a penny. Now, all of these are our items that we're going to use. Like I said, a leaf, rock, quarter, stick, penny, crayon, and bell. What I'm going to have my student do is identify each item and tell me if she thinks it's going to sink or float. All right, friend. So first what I want you to do is find the quarter. Hold it up. All right. So what do you think this quarter is going to do? Do you think it's going to sink or float?
Sink.
You think it's going to sink? All right. Well, then I want you to draw your X up here on sink. Good job. Thank you so much. Why do you think it's going to sink?
Because it's round and it's tiny.
You think it's going to sink because it's round and it's tiny? Okay. All right. Now I want you to pick up our rock. Where's the rock?
Right.
Is that rock heavy or is it light?
It's light.
You think it's light? Compared to our quarter, which one is heavier?
A little heavy.
Which one is a little heavy?
This.
What is that? Which one is a little heavy?
This.
What is that? The rock is a little heavy. So do you think the rock is going to sink or float?
Do you think it's gonna float?
You think the rock is going to float? Okay, well then I want you to draw me an X on float right here for the rock.
An X?
Yes.
One X.
Very good. Okay, now I want to go to the crayon. Can you identify the crayon for me?
Yes.
All right, this is a crayon. And what color is that crayon?
Purple.
Purple. Do you think the crayon is going to sink or float?
Float.
All right, let's write on our chart that if you think it's going to float. So put an X for the crayon floating. Okay, moving right along. Next we have, can you identify our stick? Good job. Do you think our stick is going to sink or float?
Float.
You think it's going to float? Why do you think it's going to float?
Because it's big and long.
Because it's long? Okay, here you go. So you think our stick is going to float? Go ahead and put an X for float. All right, now I want to see if you can identify the leaf. Which one is the leaf? Good job. All right, do you think that leaf is going to sink or float?
I think it's going to float.
Think it's going to float? Okay, go ahead and draw me an X for the leaf floating. Okay, next we have a bell. Do you know which one of those items is the bell? All right. Do you think the bell is going to sink or float?
Float.
You think it's going to float?
Yeah.
Okay. Or what do you think it's going to do?
I think it's going to sink.
You think it's going to sink. Okay, let's see. Go ahead and write sink for the bell. Put an X for the sink for the bell. All right, and last but not least, can you show me the penny? Can you show me the penny? Yes, the penny. Do you think the penny is going to sink or float?
Float.
You think it's going to float? Okay, go ahead and write an X on float right here for penny. Very good job. So, my friend here thinks that the quarter is going to sink. She believes that the rock is going to float. She believes the crayon is going to float. She believes the stick is going to float. And she believes the leaf is going to float. And the bell is going to sink. And the penny is going to float. So right here are all of our predictions. Right now, we're going to test out our predictions and see if she was right or not. So first, what we're going to do is put up our results chart. And what we're going to need to do this is a bowl of water and all of the items that we made predictions about. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to pick up the quarter and I want you to put it inside the water and I want you to tell me if it sinks or if it floats. Put it in the water. What did it do?
Oh, sink.
It sinks. So where do we need to write our prediction for the quarter? We need to write it on sink.
Okay. Some may be wrong, but some
It's
may be
okay.
right.
That's right. You are correct. Some may be wrong and some may be right. So you need to put sink for the quarter because it did sink. Go ahead, write your X. Very good job. Now next we're going to do the rock. Get the rock. And I want you to put it in the water and you tell me if it sinks or if it floats. What did it do?
Sink.
It sank. It sank to the bottom. Okay, so now I need you to write if the rock, did it sink or did it float?
Sink.
It sank. Sank to the bottom of the water. Okay, next we have our crayon. Can you put the crayon in the water and tell me
Yes.
if it's going to sink or float? What did it do?
It's lighter than. Well,
So did it sink or did it float?
it's sink.
All right, so for our crayon, we're going to put sink. Good job. Next, I want you to get the stick and throw the stick in and tell me if it sink or float.
It flows.
It floats. Okay, so now I need you to write for the stick that the stick floated to the top of the water. Right here, next to the word stick. Very good.
Yay.
Good job. Okay, now can you find the leaf and tell me if the leaf sinks or float? Put it in the water.
I think it's gonna go.
Put it in the water.
Go. I knew it was gonna float.
So you knew the leaf was gonna float. Let's see.
Float
Okay, go ahead and put an X for leaf. For float. Good job.
Yay.
All right, and we've got two more things to check. So go ahead and get the bell. Put it inside the water. Did it sink or did it float?
It flew.
Did it sink or did it float? Is it on top of the
Floated.
water or below?
Below.
Below. So if it's below the water, it did what? Did it sink or did it float?
It flew.
Remember, if it floats, it's on top of the water. The bell is where?
Under the water.
Under the water on the bottom. So it sinks. Very good job. Get the marker and write a X for sink for bell. Very good job. And you have one more thing to test out. The penny.
It's gonna draw.
So what did it do? Did it sink or did it float?
It dropped.
Did it sink or did it float?
I'm telling you, it dropped.
It dropped. So did it sink or did it float?
It sank.
Very good job. Can you get the marker and write that your penny sunk underwater? Very good. Thank you so much. Now what we're going to do, we're going to look at our chart and see if our predictions were right. So you predicted that the quarter would sink. Did the quarter sink? Yes, the quarter did sink. High five. Good job. The rock, you predicted that the rock would float. Did the rock float? No, it sank underwater. Do you know why it sank underwater?
Because it was too heavy.
Because it was too heavy. Very good job.
Something called gravity pulled it down.
Very good. Now, next we're going to see our crayon. Did it float or did it sink?